Hello, everybody. It is a special Lights Out Sports podcast. You've still got the same two good-looking, well, one good-looking host. I'll let you guys decide which one that is. But you are with us live right here, Lights Out Sports. This is the special college football rivalry edition. Ladies and gentlemen, because it's a special show, you got to do special music. We can't do the old walk-up stuff. We got to give you something new, something exciting, and something that means college football. Cheese. Here we go.
Let's do it.
That's right, man. Adjust yourself. Make sure you cover the entire screen, okay?
This is what sells the pod.
Well, okay.
You're like,
you say so,
okay.
Yeah, see, still the same goofy guys, still doing the same kind of stuff. We love sports, and I tell you what, man, we love college football. I've been looking forward to this for. Honestly, I barely slept last night. I was still doing stuff and looking forward to all of this, and then I realized I messed up yesterday. And I'm sure Cheese is going to correct me on it here. We'll start off the program with Stupid over here saying the wrong college program that he thought some guy was going to go to. Let's talk about that, Cheese. What did I mess up in yesterday on the show?
So Eric Morris, the North Texas coach, you said he took the Arkansas job. Right after we finished last night, I kind of looked it up to see what's going on with North Texas. He actually took the Oklahoma State job. So Arkansas job has been filled by somebody else, and you're going to tell us about that.
That's right. The Arkansas job has been filled by former Tennessee offensive coordinator Alex Golish, I believe is how you say his name. That's kind of a breaking news thing that they have reported out on our X account. I tell you what, let's just go ahead and make it official. And it's not official until it appears on our X account. So, bam, there we are. Reposted from the Volunteer Report. And so it's official now. Talk to us about where he's at now. He used to be there in Tennessee. I know you're a big Tennessee Volunteer fan. Talk to us a little bit about Alex.
Yeah, he was Tennessee offensive coordinator for 2 years. He's coached tight ends a lot. That's been his main focus. He's coached at Illinois, Iowa State, a lot of Midwest teams, Toledo. And he turned South Florida around. And, and now he will coach Arkansas Razorbacks. And, that's a really good hire for them. I don't know if they could have done better than that. That's a really good hire.
All right, and we like that, buddy. So, you know what? We're going to debate this first. We didn't put this in the notes or anything, but we're going to go ahead and do this. Which of those two jobs is better, Oklahoma State or Arkansas? I'll let you take this first, buddy.
Yeah, I'm curious what you say. So I'm going to say
you're just curious if I'm going to mess something up again. That's what you're curious about.
Well, you'll mess something up. You'll say the wrong name. Aiden Hutchinson is Trey Hendrickson.
Sure.
I think Oklahoma State is a better job. Oklahoma State, yes, they fell off the last 2 years, but they're typically ranked every year. It's easier to compete in the Big 12. Arkansas is brutal. Just like Auburn's a tough job because you're probably going to play 4 of these 6 teams every year. Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Texas, Alabama, LSU every year. And it's just really, really tough to win at Arkansas. So I think I just think Oklahoma State, even though they're a disaster right now, they haven't been for many years. So I'm saying Oklahoma State's a better job. What about you?
Well, I'm going to agree with you, but I'm going to take a little bit of a different angle with it here. I guess it depends on, for me, how many years they're going to commit to a coach. Because as you have already pointed out, Oklahoma State is a mess. It's not going to get turned around in a year or 2 years, even with the transfer portal. So in order for, if you're going to ask me which job I'm going to take, in order for me to take that Oklahoma State job, you're going to have to give me like a 4 or 5 year contract so that I know that I can actually turn it around. The last thing I want to do is go there and only have 2 years and then just get slaughtered and never have another head coaching gig in my life again. So if you're not going to give me multiple years, then I'll go to Arkansas. I'll do the SEC thing. everybody's going to say, well, it's Arkansas. They're in the SEC. They're going to get killed. So you're almost, it's like when you pick the fight with the bully, and the bully's a lot bigger than you. Just if you happen to beat the bully, then everybody's like, oh, well, great. But if you get the tar beat out of you like you're supposed to by the bully, then everybody expects that, and you almost win without winning. So that would be kind of the Arkansas job to me.
Kentucky is a similar type of job, I think, as well. It's just tough to win with their schedule every year. And Arkansas and Kentucky, let's be honest, they're more basketball schools. Nothing wrong with that if you love basketball.
It's like Duke, right?
Duke, North Carolina, UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
When's the last time they were good at football? So nothing wrong with that. It's just
Duke is going to be bowl eligible this year, daggone it. Now, somebody on this podcast was singing Duke's praises, and you were laughing at me, but they're going to be bowl eligible this year.
I think you picked them to win the whole thing, the national title, right?
That part doesn't matter, okay?
No, you didn't pick. Anyone watching, he didn't pick that. I was just teasing him. But he did pick him. I think you picked him to win the ACC. Or I can't remember.
I did some kind of crazy prediction in the very beginning because I really thought they'd be a little better than what they were, but I was happy they're bowl eligible.
Actually, I think you picked him as the most underrated ACC, like the sleeper. That's what it was. Yeah. You picked him as the ACC sleeper. I don't even know who I picked. I don't even want to look back. I know I didn't pick Virginia or Pitt, so.
That's all right. No problem. All right. So we're still just as sassy and crazy as we are in the afternoon as we are in the evening. So, really close to 25 people with us already live, and you guys can click on the comment button and leave it for us with Cheese and his Spidey cup over there. You said that was your biggest coffee mug, right? So you had to have the biggest one this morning?
Yes, because I want a lot of coffee. I need a lot of coffee, and this is some really good medium roast, and I love coffee.
Yeah, we're trying to get sponsored by a coffee company. I'm working on it for you. I know you love coffee, so yes. We're trying. Now, I have to say, you got the big coffee cup. That's what I've got this morning for drinks over here on the side. So I'll only show it to you once, but that thing.
Is that some juice? Is that some juice? Yeah. What we got there? Juice. Yeah, juice. Okay.
I'm not really a coffee person, but.
I couldn't figure out what it was with the color. I was like, what is that? It's good.
Yeah, it's like a strawberry banana juice. So,
okay.
Yeah, we're getting all hydrated and pumped up this morning.
Okay.
All right. So we are glad you guys are with us. Like I said, we love college football. Just wanted to do a special show. We didn't want to put some of this stuff in the actual Lights Out Sports podcast. And we wanted to see if people would tune in if we did something special. So we're about to find out, and so are all of you. So let's start this way, Cheese. You and I both know that I love stats, so you've got to start off a special show with some stats. So I'm going to ask, how many FBS rivalries have had at least 50 matchups? You want to take a guess?
50 they've met 50 times?
Yes.
No, I don't know.
No, and don't look at the notes because the number's right there.
Okay, I know. Let me look back real quick.
No, stop it. So FBS rivalries that have had at least 50 matchups. It's a pretty big number, 119.
Yeah, wow, yeah.
Yeah, that's
and that's with all the switching conferences and all of that too. So,
right.
Yeah.
Especially here lately, while everybody's, like the Pac-12 is no more and stuff like that. So then I wanted to go a step further before we really got into everything and ask how many FBS rivalries have had 100 or more matchups. Not 50 was the first one, then 119. Now, how many of those 50 have had 100 or more matchups?
Well, I know Virginia and North Carolina's had 100 matchups. So there's one.
There's one. 79 is the answer.
Okay.
79. Okay. Yeah, quite a lot, actually. And
that's cool. I like that.
Yeah. And one more is about to be added to that because the big rivalry here for the Territorial Cup, we'll talk about it a little more here in a moment. It is the ASU-Arizona rivalry. This year makes the 99th meeting between those two clubs. So they'll be added next year and we'll make it 80. So, Cheese, do you have to have longevity to be considered a rivalry?
This is such a good question. And I'm glad you sent me the notes before because I had to think about it. Yes and no. I mean,
Now,
To the
wait a minute. You
fans,
thought about this, and then you answered yes and no
I'm going to
after you
explain.
thought about it?
Yeah, yes, I'm going to explain why.
Okay,
So to
all
the
right.
fans, to universities, that tradition, especially the people that, are over like 80 years old that have grown up with that rivalry and they've seen it for 70 years in their life. Yes, I think it means to them, yes. But you could switch a conference. Let's just say, okay, so the Big 12's very different now, right?
Yes.
Arizona State has not been in the Big 12 a long time. They beat Texas Tech this year. What if the next few years, those two are the top two teams competing every year? That could become a huge rival overnight, like within 4 or 5 years. Okay. So yes, and I think new rivalries can just, pop up. If one, they have a couple things have to happen. One, they have to both be really good, and two, they have to play each other every year. So, okay. Does that answer the question, or did I cop out by not really saying yes or no?
No, I mean, I get what you're saying, I guess. You gave a really good example of it. Where I was kind of going is, these rivalries that have had the 100 or more matchups, the 79 of them that have, and even the 119 who have had the 50 or more matchups. I mean, I wasn't watching college football when I was, 2 or anything, but I've been around for all 50 of those years to be able to see those matchups. And we're going to talk about some things here in a little bit that I like the rivalry, maybe not every single year because, there's teams that are up and teams that are down and stuff like that. But as we talked about earlier, man, in these rivalry games, number one, anything can happen. And number two, I think that these rivalry games really make a difference if they do have a long-standing tradition. I think college football is that sport where traditions really matter. Not a whole lot in NHL, or not a whole lot in I don't want to say a whole lot in Major League Baseball because we do have our traditions there, but not necessarily rivalries as far as that part goes. I think these traditions and these rivalries really make a big difference when it comes to college football.
Yeah, when you play someone once a year, it's just so much bigger than baseball where you play 12. It used to be 18 times a year. So each game doesn't mean as much. So absolutely. But yeah, when you play once a year, even NFL, you play your rivals twice a year. So it's just special that you only get one chance every year. And if you lose that, you have to think about it for 365 days.
Correct. Yeah, it's coming again, right?
Unless they meet in the conference title game or the playoff. But for the most part, yeah. Most of the time once, yeah.
Okay. Do you think being able to remember watching a game with other people as a kid, like if you watched it with your dad or you watched it with your grandpa or you sat down with an uncle or whatever it was, does that help to cement that game to you personally as a rivalry?
Yes. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the best.
Any examples that you want to give? Because any examples that you want to give, and then I'll talk about it in a second.
Just like, I still remember just as a kid watching Tennessee, Florida, watching those games. I know Tennessee really struggled in the 90s to beat Florida, but those games, I was just so hyped for them. And most of them did not go the way I wanted. But Tennessee, that wasn't one of their big rivals, and it became one. So that's one example that it was still a rival. It just wasn't as big. But, yeah, and just going, was born in Virginia, went to some Virginia Tech games in Charlottesville, went to one in Blacksburg. Those are really fun too. I just remember those games. And in some rivals, the big problem with these big conferences, like Virginia and Florida State used to play every year. And they developed a rivalry in the late 90s, early 2000s. Virginia was the first one to beat them when they joined the ACC. And they actually had a trophy. I don't even remember what it's called. And then when the conference expanded, oh, wait, you're not playing them every year. Like Georgia Tech and Clemson one year didn't play each other, which is crazy because those were huge rivalries. So that's the only thing that disappoints me. I wish the conferences would be max 12. I wish there were 6 or 7 big ones and more geographical, and you had, you played your rivals every year.
Yeah, we'll get into some of these geographical rivalries here in just a moment. I think there's one big one, and it's, as a kid, and I'm not trying to get anybody's sympathy or anything like that, but, I didn't have a father figure as far as that part goes. So I didn't really have that deep-seated to be able to do it. My mother wasn't really a sports person. We were, I don't want to say poor, but we didn't have a lot of money. And so football was one of those sports where you kind of had to have money in order to play it. So I just never got to play it. So I sat on the sidelines and watched a lot, and maybe that's why I'm doing a podcast now, and I'm not a retired player or something like that, right? But so I don't really have memories per se with sitting with people, but I like to sit, and I was one of these analytical guys even way back when. That's why I love all the stats and everything else, that I would just sit and watch and rewatch and do some crazy stuff. So I mean, there's times in games where I will just focus on like an offensive line or the defensive line, or just these two receivers or whatever it is, and then I'll rewind the play back and watch it again from the offensive line standpoint, and I'll rewind it back and watch it from a defensive line standpoint. I'm sure that you do the same thing when you do all your draft analyzing and everything else, right?
Oh, absolutely. So when I watch a college game, you watch the ball. That's what you do. But I love going back and just watching offensive line on plays. Anyone that's watched my channel, the three positions I'm just obsessed with the draft, and that's offensive line, wide receiver, and safety. I love rewatching plays. You learn so much about a player just watching them play by play. And, some receivers just getting open, the quarterback can't get involved, and you're like, this guy had 3 catches, but this guy should have had 10 for 200, 3 touchdowns, And an offensive line, it's just really fun to watch. Just them try to pick up stunts, pick up blitzes, pull, just little things like that I really enjoy. So I absolutely agree with you.
All right, so let me ask you this. I'm throwing this in here on purpose. We'll get to it in another show, and I'll just say that I have some things that are coming down the pike that I know I want to talk to you about later on. It won't be in this show, but it'll be later on. What do you think? What position group is going to be the easiest one to fill with the best players in this upcoming draft?
Oh, man. What's crazy? I would have said probably offensive tackle and quarterback before the season, and both have had so many disappointing players. Garrett Nussmeier, Drew Aller. I don't think Dante Moore is coming out. There's a rumor he's going to stay at Oregon. So that position's now weak. God.
What do you think about offensive line as a whole?
Probably edge rusher, but there are a lot of big edge rushers. It's not a 240-pound speed rusher. There's a lot of 4-3 defensive ends is really strong. I'd say, offensive line just not as good as would. Maybe off-ball linebackers better than it's been a couple years. It's terrible at tight end. It's terrible at running back. Wide receiver to me was one of the weakest positions. Mm-hmm. But so many guys have jumped up. Carnell Tate, Denzel Boston, Mekhi Lemon. I mean, it really was Jordan Tyson. And is anyone else going to go in the first round? That's what I was thinking in August. And Chris Brazzell, Tennessee, I think he's going top 20. Almost forgot him. Kevin Concepcion, A&M. So now, all of a sudden, wide receiver, if you're looking for a number 2 wide receiver, this is a good draft for you. There's not a lot of ones, but there's a lot of good number 2s. So, I'll say that. And
okay.
Pretty good.
I think I'm going to have to cut you off because you're just going to keep talking about the draft.
I'm going to list all the positions. Yeah, I was trying to find my draft notes, but I couldn't. I didn't have time.
It's all right. I didn't prep you for this, so that's I was throwing this at you here. So, how many rivalry games will actually be played this week in college football? There's 119 of them that have had 50 matchups. There's 100 of them that have had 79. So how many will be played this weekend in college football, and why are we doing a special show on it? Are you ready for this number? There will be 67 college football rivalry games this weekend alone. It's crazy. That's a ton of games and just so much football to watch, and I can't wait to get into it. We'll talk about some of them here, and then we'll do our lights out list here at the end of the show, which will give us our top 10 games of the weekend. I can't wait to do that because I'm sure, as always, our differences will shine through here. So how many of these hang on, I lost myself here. How many trophies are handed out at the end of these 67 games played this week? How about that? Let's give you another stat for everybody to munch on for a moment.
Well, some trophies are already given out. Some teams have multiple rivalries. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Just tell me.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know.
27? I don't know.
Not quite that many. 19.
Okay.
So I have some questions for you as far as the actual trophies and the games that are being done this weekend. How important are these trophies, do you think, to the actual rivalries?
Oh, they're huge. They want to hold that up at the end of the game. You've seen all these rivalry games where they hold that trophy. It's so big for the players. It's so big for the fans. Even if you're having a bad season, you're not as good as you thought. Maybe you're not bowl eligible, or maybe you thought you'd be the playoff, but you're not. But if you beat your rival, you have that trophy. At least you end this season on a positive note, and you get bragging rights for a year.
And some of these teams that are going to be 2-8 or whatever they're going to be when they get there, they can knock out a team in that rivalry game, and not only do they get to hold that trophy up, but they know, hey, we've knocked this team out of the college football playoff, or it's like a twofold win for them. It's great.
Do you remember when Oklahoma was in the Big 12 and they stopped the Big 12 title game because they refused to play in it because they kept losing to Texas or Texas A&M in that, or Nebraska? They kept losing it, so they're like, we're not playing anymore. For a while, there was no Big 12 title game because of that.
And you're kind of the fan of not having the conference title games and stuff like that, right? I mean, that's I don't want to bring this up too much, but we'll talk about it for a second.
I could talk for 5 minutes about it, but yes, I'm in favor of getting rid of them.
And, as I've told you in the past, it'll never happen because there's way too many sponsorship and way too much money and all of this kind of thing.
I'll say this. If they do go to 24 teams, they need to get rid of them. If they go to 24 playoff teams, that week needs to go away. So, but we'll see.
That's interesting. All right. And I do know that I'm getting in here on our X account real fast. I saw that the college football has got a new sponsor. Did you see this? They're talking about money and all of this kind of stuff.
I did not.
Yes. Hang on. Give me about 4 or 5 seconds here to keep scrolling. Boy, we got a lot of stuff on our timeline right at the moment. There's stuff everywhere on this thing. Well, look, there's somebody's podcast. I wonder who that guy is. Yeah, looks really familiar. So bowl season is announcing today. This was yesterday. A new sponsorship. It's Coca-Cola. The organization of college football is rebranding as the Coca-Cola Bowl season. It's a 7-figure deal with feature sponsorships and activations, field logos, and other in-field features that'll be on there. So it'll now be called Coca-Cola Bowl season. So I thought that was interesting. We got a new sponsorship there for that. And speaking of sponsorships, you know what? Let me transition over to this real quick before we go any further here. We'll pull this up for you really fast here. Let me show you this. This is something I'm very, very proud of. This is Battle Bites. We got this sponsorship a couple of weeks or so ago. You can fuel your battle with Battle Bites. Go to their website. Use the promo code ALLGLOVESOFF10 for 10% off of your order. And this is your order every single time, not just your first one. Every order that you do with Battle Bites, it is fuelyourbattle.com. You can go over and there's several flavors. You can get those. You can get 10% off. And another great thing with them is that they give 10% of their profits to the Wounded Warrior Project. So once again, you can go over and do that. There it is, Battle Bites right down there at the bottom. And you can get those fantastic tasting beef jerky with great protein and everything else in them, specially formulated for athletes like I know watch this show. I mean, again, there's a reason why you can only see me from like the neck up. So
I'm an athlete.
But with that hair, I'm sure it's aerodynamic. I mean, it's.
I played sport in college. So
did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not football, unfortunately. When you're not even 5'9", it's tough to play football. But
it's true. So how important? So we said these trophies are really important to the rivalries. How about how important they are to the fans? What do you think the fans feel when they see those trophies?
Oh, they love it. But the thing is with fans, we've talked about this. It's short for fanatic. You better beat your rivalry. Fans are going to be pissed. They're going to want you. You know this.
Yeah.
There are still people, Ohio State fans,
here we go,
that hate Ryan Day because he didn't beat Michigan last year. You won the national title, and there was one on X that said, I'm great. I'm happy we won the national title, but he better beat Michigan next year or he's gone.
It's just so insane.
I'm happy, but I'd rather be
Right.
Michigan than win a national title. I mean, is that what he's saying? So
Yeah.
it's big. Yeah, but it's huge. Fans, it can save jobs, and they love seeing that trophy, and they love storming the field.
Yes. I want to throw this out there really quickly too. You said this in the earlier, actually, I think you said this on your channel on one of your podcasts, that Ohio State losing to Michigan last year kind of woke them up, and it kicked them in the butt to be able to have them go win the national title. We've got 3 undefeated teams right now in Ohio State. Again, you've got Texas Tech, and hang on, who's the third
Ohio
one?
State, Indiana, and Texas A&M.
Indiana,
Texas
there we
Tech
go.
has a loss to Arizona State.
So for the fans of those teams, even if you lose this weekend, maybe it's going to do the same thing. Maybe it's going to wake them up. And maybe your team, even though they take a loss this weekend, will go on to win the national title. We'll see.
I think the only one that, I mean, I guess anything can happen, but Purdue's not beating Indiana. But yeah, A&M, if Texas comes out and whoops them, that could wake them up. So, because they've had a couple games where they didn't play so great and barely won, especially against South Carolina. So maybe they need a wake-up call.
And unfortunately, we can say the same thing for Ohio State because Michigan's had their number, and we'll talk about that here in just a few minutes too. Last thing I want to ask you about with the trophies and how they're concerned, then we're going to actually go through and look at trophies and the matchups in which they are given to them. But how important are these trophies to the overall tradition of college football? We'll kind of circle the wagons and talk about all of this in one shot here. How about the college football traditions associated with those trophies?
It's huge. It's college football is just, I get when some people say I like college football better than NFL, especially for NIL. But yeah, it's the traditions, the trophy. You don't have I know you do. I love them both, but you don't have those in the NFL. You don't have stuff like that, and it's just huge. And having that trophy for a year is, in your case, is absolutely huge. Especially keeping it year after year after year, winning a bunch in a row. So it's just, college football just has more tradition than the NFL for sure.
Yeah, so I wanted to list these 19 trophies and the matchups real quick for us before we move on to our next thing. So it's the wooden boot, and it's given to the winner of the Louisiana versus
the Battle on the Bayou.
Yes, the Louisiana UL Monroe teams.
Yes.
The Victory Bell, UCLA, and USC. The Valley Trophy, one that I didn't even know existed, to be honest. Fresno State versus San Jose State will get the Valley Trophy. When you get Arizona and Arizona State together, the winner of that game will get the Territorial Cup. You have the Ram Falcon Trophy. Air Force versus Colorado State. Paul Bunyan's Axe, I think one of the more famous trophies that's given out. Minnesota and Wisconsin play for that. The Penaloa, I'm going to mess that up.
Sure.
Hawaii and Wyoming. Give me the name of the trophy, sir.
Yeah, you got it. But I don't want to try to say
it. So you're just going to say, yeah, you got it.
Yeah, you got it.
And then on our next show, you're going to be like, Mike screwed up again and said the wrong trophy name. Oh, man. Old Oaken Bucket, Indiana and Purdue.
We know who's getting that this year.
Yeah, we know who's getting that one, I think. The Macala Trophy, Makala. What is it? Macala? Yeah, okay. Maybe you should have read these. That goes to Florida and Florida State. The Legends Trophy, Notre Dame and Stanford meet for that. Illinois and Northwestern will meet for the Land of Lincoln Trophy. Alabama and Auburn, of course, we call it the Iron Bowl, but the trophy is the, here we go. I'm sure they got money for this. James E. Fox VODK Sportsmanship Trophy. Whew.
James E. Foy, but yeah.
Okay. What did I say?
Fox.
Oh, yeah, it's because I'm getting old and it's really small writing. I should have made the writing bigger. The Heroes Trophy goes to Iowa and Nebraska. The Governor's Cup goes to either Georgia or Georgia Tech. And there's also a second Governor's Cup that goes to either Kentucky or Louisville. For those of you in both those places going, hey, that's our cup. No, there's actually two of them. Another one of the really famous ones, the Golden Egg Trophy, will go to either Mississippi State or Ole Miss. That's going to be an interesting game. We talked about it yesterday on the Lights Out Sports podcast. We'll talk a little bit more about it here today. The Fremont Cannon goes to either Nevada or UNLV. And then we've got two more. The Commonwealth Cup goes to either Virginia or Virginia Tech. And the Battle Line Trophy, I love that name. The Battle Line Trophy goes to either Arkansas or Missouri. Any of those trophies or games that you want to talk about for just a second, sir, before we move on to the geographical rivalry here in just a second?
Yeah, let's just there's two I want to mention. So
sure.
Florida State, the winner of the McCullough Trophy. It's basically which team sucks the least, because they both are terrible this year.
Okay.
That game is just no. I don't even know what channel it's on. I'm not even going to watch it, and it's crazy. And I think my favorite is the Paul Bunyan axe, because not only is it a cool looking trophy, but if someone attacked you, have a weapon. It's a weapon too, so you can like fight off. If like a zombie apocalypse, you got like an axe to fight. So I just I still remember that. Unfortunately, both those teams aren't so good, but I still remember a kicker. I can't even remember. I think it was Minnesota. A kicker hits this big kick, like a long kick, and then runs and grabs a trophy and just runs with it. God, that's probably been 20 years. But I just remember seeing that. I was like, I think it was Minnesota. I just think that's the coolest trophy. That's my favorite. What about you?
Oh, I love the name of the last one there that we mentioned. I love the Battle Line Trophy. I think that's a great name for a trophy. Of course, the one that's big here is Arizona State, that Territorial Cup. As I'm looking through there, though, I also like the Landon Lincoln Trophy from Illinois and Northwestern, and I really think that will be a really good game later on in the week as well. So, yeah, a couple of really good things. I wanted to mention the trophies and talk to everybody about them, give them props, as I'm sure a lot of different people from all of those areas are going to be listening to the Lights Out Sports podcast here in our college football rivalry special. But let's kind of move on, because we don't want to take forever like we do on the Lights Out Sports podcast, almost 3 hours worth of podcast here. Let's move on to a geographic rivalry. There's 13.9 miles between these two teams. The first meeting was back in 1929, and the last result was USC 19 and UCLA 13. That was on November 23rd of 2024. The record in the last 10 meetings between the two teams, USC leads it 7-3, and in the all-time series, it's a little more lopsided than what I thought it was going to be. USC leads UCLA in this series 53-34, and believe it or not, 7. They've had 7 ties in this rivalry. Now, it's 13.9 miles from point A to point B, but I was reading an article earlier, and they basically said it's still going to take you like an hour to an hour and 15 minutes to drive those 13.9 miles because it's in Southern California.
Yeah.
So, yeah, kind of crazy. It's a good geographical rivalry, and that's the one that I kind of remember as a kid because of where it was played at, and that historic stadium and all of that kind of thing. So, for me, that kind of ties everything together. It's close in proximity. It was played at a historic stadium, and it's been going on forever and a day. So, yeah, I wanted to mention that particular rivalry. Anything that you want to talk about the UCLA and USC rivalry, sir?
Just that I'm a lot younger than you. Just that I'm not surprised at that record, because from when I started watching college football, USC has been much better than UCLA almost every year. UCLA just has not been relevant in a long time.
Yeah,
I know Troy Aikman played there, but I wasn't old enough to remember that. But when's the last time UCLA was like a top 10 team or relevant or up there? I can't remember. And USC's had some really good teams. About 20 years ago, they were one of the best college football programs year in, year out.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like Dan Lanning said, and he was able to mention them, right? And when you're giving a speech to your guys, and that Dan Lanning speech that we played yesterday on the Lights Out Sports podcast, Reggie Bush is not walking through that door, and Matt Leinart is not coming to help them today. So he was able to mention some really great players within that, and then he was talking about how rich that tradition is with USC. So when you've got an opposing coach using your great players and your great legacy as a motivation, I think that pretty much says it all, doesn't it?
I think so, but Oregon's had a lot of good players like last 20 years. They've been up there. They haven't won a national title. They've been close a few times, but it's not like Oregon's just doesn't have but back then USC was just absolutely loaded. I was still following the draft back then, and they would get 2 top 10 picks pretty much every year. They just had so many studs, and they won a few national titles.
Okay. The term rival tends to be tossed around by fans and marketers and stuff alike, right? We've made this whole week about rivalries. Technically, it's defined as a competitor that a sports team or athlete wants to defeat. A competitor that a sports team or athlete wants to compete. That's Webster's dictionary. For those of you who are watching and say, what the heck's a dictionary? You can Google it too, all right?
Shepherd's Farm remembers.
I think I've got a few dictionaries around here somewhere. Cheese.
I do not.
Probably not. Do you like that definition? A sports team or an athlete that wants to defeat the other team?
Sure, it's fine. Yeah.
Do you think you need to add anything to that definition or take anything away from it when you're talking about college football rivalry week?
I mean, yeah, it's you could you could add a lot to it. Basically, a game that you must win. You must beat your rivalry. A must-win game, or fans are not going to be happy.
All right, so let's. If you're following along with me in the notes, I'm going to skip the next question because we're basically going to do that at the end. So let's not do that right at the moment. But let's talk about 5 games specifically that are going to be going on this weekend, and some different points from each one of them. The first one we're going to do, I'm doing this one for you, buddy. Vanderbilt, number 14, at number 23, Tennessee. The rivalry nickname? Well, there isn't one. It'll be on the 29th. You can watch it on ESPN at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. The all-time record, Tennessee just absolutely kills Vanderbilt. 79, 32, and 5. So 79, 32, and 5. Can Tennessee ruin the season for Vanderbilt again?
Oh, yeah, they can. Absolutely. To be honest, I expect them to win the game. So I lived in Tennessee for many years, and that's a game. Not only you win, you do not lose to Vanderbilt, and they lost to them like 2 out of 3 years when James Franklin was there. Oh my God! Who was the coach back then? Was that Dooley? I don't know, but it was unacceptable. Like people were livid. Tennessee, it's one of those rivalries that has been one-sided. And Vandy hates the fact that when they have the game at home, it's in Tennessee this year, that there's just as many people rooting for the Vols as rooting for Vandy. But, Vandy's better than they typically are this year, no doubt about it. But I expect Tennessee to win that game. They're playing better.
Okay. What I didn't expect was so many people with us during the afternoon, but man, we're starting to jump up there in numbers here. So people love college football, and I think it's because of you, Cheese. People just love you too. All right, I'm going to give you.
That's a big part of it.
I'm sure it is. We'll have to look at the statistics when we're done with everything, but I'm sure that's a huge part of it, right?
Yes.
Another huge part of this Vanderbilt, who is number 14 right at the moment in the AP poll, against Tennessee, who was ranked number 23rd, and as you said, it's in Tennessee. I'm going to give you 3 words, and I want you to give me what you think of those 3 words. Quarterback, Diego Pavia.
He's very good. I don't think he's a top 3 Heisman candidate like some people do, but he's a dual threat. There's no doubt about it. His passing stats look actually very similar to Joey Aguilar, the Tennessee quarterback. I was kind of comparing them. Aguilar's thrown for more yards, a few more interceptions, fewer touchdowns, but Aguilar has the most passing yards in the SEC. I was a little surprised about that. But Diego, he's just such a dual threat. He can run too. But here's why I think Tennessee's going to win. I think the game plan needs to be run the football. Both these teams have better offenses than defenses.
Okay.
But Deshaun Bishop had not carried the ball. He's a running back for the Vols more than 16 times all year, 24 last week against Florida. They finally realized playing 3 running backs is just Bishop needs to be the guy. And he torched Florida, and he's averaging 6.2 yards a carry. Feed him early and often and get ahead. Tennessee will win this game if they score enough points. They just got to keep scoring, and they'll be fine. But Pavia, yeah, he's Pavia. I don't know. How do you say his name? Pavia, I think that's his name.
Yeah, Pavia.
He's a stud. Don't get me wrong. Just don't think he's quite as hyped as some people say. But I think he's got over 600 yards rushing and 2,800 yards passing. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. So I know neither one of us are a gambler, but you said this, and this is one of the reasons why I want to watch this game, because I believe what you just said. Not a lot of defense, a whole lot of offense. So if I gave you 50, would you take the over or under total score in the game? 50 points for Vanderbilt and Tennessee.
I'd take over with 62.
Wow.
I mean, Tennessee's played some games. I'd have to look it up, but they played some games where they lost 44-41 to Georgia. They had another game that won like 41-34. Even Oklahoma game. Oklahoma, who has much better defense offense, they scored 60. Yeah. That game was 60 points. Kentucky, 56-34. So 41-34, that was Mississippi State. They play a lot of high-scoring games. And unfortunately, the big reason why Tennessee's not making the playoffs this year, well, they did last year, their defense was just better last year than it is this year. That's why they're not as good. But no, I expect it to be a lot of scoring in that game.
We appreciate you stopping by and dropping a like to us. We do appreciate that. Like, subscribe. But that's one of the things that I never say on this show. Here I am over here, and I don't know why my guy beside me doesn't do it. He does it every one of his shows. He starts it off. And if you haven't seen his new format, by the way, new screen look, man, it's really tight. And of course, you can give your props to the person who did that for you. Go ahead.
Yeah, Shauna made it for me. She did an amazing job.
All right. So we've got that going on right at the moment. He's really improved that. The lights out sports right there the whole time. I love it. It just needs to have lights on it or something. And then it would be 100% great, but it's okay. I do love the new format. I love how the side looks with your with your logo and everything else now. That's really, really cool. So yeah, thank you for stopping by. Give us the like, hit the bell for notifications. You know what? Let me let Cheese do it. He does it so well. What all should they do right now for the Lights Out Sports podcast on YouTube?
So if they're not subscribed, why not? They should absolutely subscribe. And if you don't hit the bell, then you never know when we might do an instant reaction. You never know when Mike might do, what do you call it? What do you call it?
Seeing the whole field. I've changed the name of it. Seeing the whole
field. We need more of that, Mike, when you have time. But we need more of that. You never know.
I'm going to try to do it some this week. I'm off this week.
So hit the notification and absolutely like this. Really helps out Lights Out Podcast if you hit the like button. It looks like this. That's what it looks like. So hit that and make sure you subscribe.
All right, fantastic. So we got our first of 5 games out of the way. Let's go to the second one, where number 4 Alabama is at Auburn. The rivalry nickname is the Iron Bowl. The trophy is the Foy ODK Sportsmanship Trophy. It's on Saturday, November 29th. You can watch it at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC. The all-time record for this, not as close as I thought it was going to be. Alabama leads the series 51-37, and they've had one tie. But as I asked you in the last game, or in the last game that we looked at here before this one, Vanderbilt and Tennessee, I'm going to ask you basically the same question. Do you think Auburn can spoil Alabama's college football playoff berth with a win in the Iron Bowl?
It's definitely possible. I just don't think it'll happen. Alabama is actually, I don't think they've lost an SEC road game this year. Could be wrong, but I don't think they have. They've been a good road team, and they have to win to stay alive in the college football playoff. I think they win. I think they will play Texas A&M. if they win in the SEC title game, assuming A&M wins, but it's definitely possible. Auburn has pulled some upsets in the past, but I wasn't surprised that it's 51 and 37-1 because it was probably pretty even before Nick Saban got there. It was probably pretty close. But they can pull it off. It is in Auburn, but I just don't think they will. I think it could be close for a while. I think Alabama will pull away. I think they're just better.
So, yeah, Alabama lost to Florida State. I was trying to pull up some of this real fast while you were talking. That's all that Google gave me. So Google let me down there. But,
well, they lost to Oklahoma at home, but they haven't lost a road conference game. They've been really good. They've won at Missouri, at Georgia, places like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they've looked good on the road in the SEC. I just think they'll show up. I think, they have to win to have any chance to make the playoff. I'm not even sure if they're in with that. We'll see what happens with the committee. But
yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be really interesting. Of course, now you guys can comment right along with us. We're getting close to 50 people here with us live. You can do what Brando Hoosier did. Stop by and just give us a like or give us a follow or give us a comment. We'll certainly talk to each and every one of you as long as you talk about what we're talking about. And the great thing about this show is we're only talking college football. So it's pretty easy to talk about what we're talking about. It's not like the Lights Out Sports podcast every Tuesday night that we do where we talk about college football, Major League Baseball, and the NFL.
And Australian women's volleyball
Sometimes, if they're good looking. All right. Alabama, Auburn, the Iron Bowl. You've got to watch this game if you're a college football guy, right, Cheese?
Alabama, Auburn?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Especially because, it's so big for Alabama. And Auburn can play spoiler. And they want to. They've done this in the past. Mm-hmm. I still remember the game where Alabama could have won with a field goal, and he was short and was returned for a touchdown, and Auburn upset them. Do you remember that game? Probably about 12, 15 years ago?
Yeah.
There are Alabama fans that still do not forgive Nick Saban, despite all the national championships, for that game.
But how bad is it going to be, Cheese, with this new Alabama coach that not everyone's sold on as it is, if Auburn beats them on Saturday? How bad is it going to be?
They're going to want him fired, period. Because a lot of them already do. It's a big split with the fans. A lot of them want him gone already. If he doesn't make the college football playoff 2 years in a row, there are a lot of them that will want him gone for sure. But
they'll go get that Paul Bunyan's Axe Trophy from the Minnesota-Wisconsin game and bring that thing down to Alabama.
Yeah. I still remember there's so many big games. The year that Auburn won the national title with Cam Newton, mm-hmm. Alabama led 21-0 in that game. And Cam Newton led a second half huge comeback. And a lot of Alabama fans, I knew a lot of them living in Tennessee, they still bring up that game too. How dare you lose that game? And if they win that, then Auburn doesn't even play for a national title.
Yeah. And, this is what college football and rivalry week is all about. You're bringing up a lot of these things that happened in the past, and these things have burnt a memory into your brain, right? That vast brain of knowledge that's behind all that beautiful hair of yours there. But that's what this is all about. And I'm thinking we might get something like that in our next game that we're going to talk about. It's number 3 Texas A&M at number 10 Texas. So the rivalry name is the Lone Star Showdown. It's actually on Friday. It's not Saturday. This game is Friday. You can watch it at 7:30 p.m. on ABC. It's on prime time. The all-time record, Texas leads this series really big as well, 77, 37, and 5. First of all, I need to ask you this. Mm-hmm. Does Texas deserve to be in the top 10?
No.
Did they just do this to make this rivalry that much bigger and that much better? Are we fallen for this?
Are we really? They really ranked 10? No, I think they're I thought they were 15th.
Well, the notes I had here said 10.
Okay, it says 6. They're in 16 in both polls, and Tennessee is 19 in one and 18 the other. I don't know what poll you got, but you
maybe the college football playoff poll.
Possibly. But I'm just looking at the AP and the coaches poll has Texas 16th in both.
Okay, 16 I can handle. But when I saw this, I was like, no, they do not deserve to be in the top 10. Like I said, 16. Okay, I can handle 16 because yes, they've had some losses, but they were the pretty good teams, and they've had some decent wins.
They lost to Florida.
Great sometimes.
That Florida loss is just so bad because Florida, they had 3 wins, 3-8 or something like that. So that loss just really kills Texas. They've had some good wins, but they beat Vandy, beat Oklahoma, but that losing to Florida, they have, Texas can beat anyone and lose to a 3-win team.
Obviously,
that's who Texas is.
To us, right?
No, they're inconsistent. Yeah, and Arch Manning's been inconsistent, and some games they just don't show up.
So, what do you think? Let's talk about this: Arch Manning versus Marcel Reed. Who do you think has the better game?
Marcel Reed.
Yes, isn't that the quarterback for Texas?
He's been great this year, minus the first half against South Carolina. He was horrible. Other than that, he's been terrific.
So you're going Marcel Reed?
Oh, absolutely. What about you?
Sorry, I wasn't looking at you. I was looking at other notes. So when you said Marcel Reed, I thought you were asking me, and I thought, daggone it, did I print something up wrong again?
No.
I wasn't looking at you. Well, at least I didn't mess that up. So how about the coaches? You've got Steve Sarkisian versus Mike Elko. Who is gonna coach their team better?
I don't know. Well, here's the difference, but both of them have had games where they don't really play great. But I think Marcel Reed's just been overall more consistent. That's the reason A&M's won more games, won those close games that Texas lost on. So I guess I'll say Elko, but Sarkisian, if he loses this game, they have 4 losses. There are a lot of Texas fans that are going to want him fired, which I think is a little crazy, but I'll say Elko, slight advantage.
Okay. I think I do not want Texas to win this game. I mean, the only reason I want Texas to win this game is because it's going to throw everything in chaos. And to be honest, I kind of like chaos. I like to have something to talk about on Tuesdays, right? And this will certainly give us something to talk about on Tuesday if something like this happens, right? If Ohio State loses or if A&M loses or God forbid if Indiana loses.
There are some one-loss teams. Let's just say, for example, hypothetical. If Georgia loses to Georgia Tech, if Oregon loses to Washington, if Ole Miss loses to Mississippi State, all these one-loss teams lose, they're not all going to make it because there's some other two-loss teams, like Oklahoma, Notre Dame, that probably be ahead of them. So not all those teams with one loss, if they lose, will make it. So it could create a ton of chaos. There could be so many 10-2 teams that 2 get in, and there'd be 7 of them that are in the discussion. So, there could be a ton of chaos.
Yeah, committee members come out with tufts of hair lost because they're just yanking on it so much, trying to decide who's going to be in what spot. I mean, this could go absolutely crazy. And I'm almost rooting for chaos. But I'm afraid if we get chaos, then we're immediately going to get, I don't know if you saw this or not, but they delayed the decision on some of the things for the college football playoff with ESPN and all of that. So I'm afraid if we get total chaos, then it's really going to jump to 16 or 24 teams or something right away. I'm not sure if I want that, but that's probably a topic for another show. How about this? Can Texas spoil A&M's undefeated season?
They can. They got to play well. I mean, like we just talked about, some games they just look awful. Looked awful against Florida, awful against Georgia. They have to show up, but they can. I mean, the talent level is pretty even, I think. But I think A&M is going to take it. I think, like I said, Marcel Reed, I think he just plays better than Arch. But they absolutely could.
And I'll tell you, I think Arch Manning is the big point here because he has not played well in pressure cooker type situations. He is not. In Ohio State game, he didn't look good. There's a couple other games that I've seen where he just didn't look great. And I think it's the pressure that gets to him. But if he does well, he may all of a sudden climb up some of these draft boards, when we start doing mock drafts and then we start doing workouts and we start doing.
He's not. He's staying. He's not going anywhere.
You don't think he's going anywhere yet?
No, because he's just not had a good year. Same thing with Dante Moore. If you are not going to be a top 15 pick, you can make more money staying in school, and you can help your draft position. If you're a quarterback, especially, if you are told that you're not going to be a top 10, top 15 pick, you're a quarterback, stay, work on your mechanics, get better, especially because teams can just like, oh, wait, we'll give you more offensive line receiver help. We'll just get the transfer portal. So Arch Manning, Dante Moore, I see rumors they're not going anywhere. They're coming back.
That's
and that
interesting.
Obviously hurts the draft class because they both have another year of eligibility.
Right. It hurts the draft class, but do you think that's and I know we keep getting off on little tangents here that aren't in the notes, but do you think that's a positive thing from what the NIL has given college football?
Well, it's good for college football. It's good for college football. This guy's coming back. Let's be honest. Those are big names. It's good for Oregon, good for Texas, but it's such a weak top 10 right now. It's going to make – I think this draft's going to have depth. We'll talk – I'm not going to get too off on it. I think rounds 3 and 4, you're going to get – it's really good in those rounds. But, boy, the top 10's weak, and it's going to get weaker the more people stay. So, yeah. But I'm going to give you a player to watch in that game. I just want to give you a player to watch. I mentioned him earlier real quick. I don't think Texas can cover Casey Concepcion, wide receiver for A&M. He's just gotten better as the season going on. He is a monster after the catch, averaging 16 yards a catch. He will drop some. That's the biggest issue I have with him. But he went from maybe a fourth-round pick to late first right now, probably where I'd have him. So I think Texas could have a lot of trouble covering him.
I'm intrigued. I need to find out if he's any relation to Reds shortstop Davey Concepcion. I can't wait to look up that research and find out.
Okay.
Last question
next
for
week.
You.
Mike will have the answer.
I will. Last question here on the Texas A&M Texas Lone Star Showdown game. If Texas wins, do they get a spot in the college football playoff?
Texas, no. They have 3 losses. Lost to Florida. No, they should not get in. Period. No one with 3 losses.
Number 3 team.
Yes, they have 3 losses. Texas A&M still gets in because that's their only loss. But no, there's just so many 1 and 2 loss teams that have better resumes.
Okay. And you're the guy who doesn't want to have all these teams in the college football playoff. And you're telling me right now there's tons of teams that have great resumes.
Or better.
Okay.
Better resumes.
All right. Let's talk about the game. Ohio State and Michigan. It's Saturday, November 29th, 12 p.m. Eastern. It's early for me, 10 p.m. for me. It's early on Fox. The all-time record, I hate to say this, but Michigan leads the all-time record, 62, 51, and 6. And I know we've asked this with every one of these games, but that's why these games are so important in this rivalry week. I know the answer is yes, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Can Michigan spoil OSU's undefeated season?
If you asked me last year, I would have been like, oh, no, that wouldn't happen. So, yes, they can. If they can beat them last year, they can beat Michigan because Michigan was a worse team last year. That game, I rewatched that game right before the draft, and I was like, Kenneth Grant, who's been awful for the Dolphins. In that game, he went from like a late first, maybe even early second-round pick to the 13th overall player when he absolutely dominated that game. If he doesn't play, Ohio State wins. And he's done nothing for the Dolphins. So based on last year, yeah, they could win. It's at Michigan, I believe. Yeah, it's at Michigan. But I don't think it'll happen. I just don't. There's no way. Ohio State, you can't lose that game again. They have a better team than Michigan, so they should win.
4. They've lost 4 in a row.
After winning 8 straight. Winning 8 in a row. And yeah, Ohio State needs to win that game. Even though if they lose, they're still in the playoff. Ohio State needs to win that game.
Okay. J.J. McCarthy, let's talk about him for a second. He came from Michigan, right? And you made a video about him. You just gave us another guy who has not been very good that came out of Michigan. I love it when you talk about people that come out of Michigan that aren't very good when they get to the NFL.
Who's good against Ohio State?
But when JJ was there, you made a great point in your latest video on your YouTube channel. What is the name of that YouTube channel, sir?
It's Football with Cheese. Cheese spelled Cheez. Where I did a video basically breaking down how bad JJ McCarthy has been, why it's surprising because I was high on the draft, and what the Vikings should do going forward because it's just a mess. And yeah, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And anything crazy happens, any upsets with the NFL on Thanksgiving, yes, I will go live on Thanksgiving, instant reaction if I have to. So just, I will make a video. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell.
What does a win for Michigan over Ohio State do for them this season? I mean, I don't think it gets them into the college football playoff, but what else could it do for them this year?
I think they should be in if they win.
Really?
I do. Because they'll the only team to beat Ohio State. They beat the number one team in the country. They'll be 10-2. Their losses were to USC and I can't think what the other one was. It was Oklahoma. Oh, yeah, Oklahoma. So they'll have one loss in the Big Ten and beat the number one team in the country. 10-2 Big Ten team with that kind of win. The only two losses to a top 10 team and a top 20 team. Yeah, they should be in if they win that game, in my opinion. That they have a good resume. I don't know if they will get in, but they should leapfrog teams like Alabama or Vandy.
That's not going to happen.
They should. Alabama lost to Florida State, who stinks. Florida State is 15th out of 17 teams in the ACC right now. 15th place. I get
Alabama's
it.
money.
They should leapfrog. Not Oklahoma, they lost to them. And maybe even Notre Dame. But I think Michigan wins that game. They should make the playoff, but we'll see.
Okay. See, this is why we want to talk about this. I think there's some really interesting and really we got some big intrigue. Something big is going to happen this weekend.
Yep.
We're going to have to react to something. One of these teams is going to upset somebody, and it's just going to throw everything into chaos. And I just can't wait for it. I just hope it's not Michigan over Ohio State, because you might not see me on Tuesday.
So make sure you subscribe to this channel, because we might do an instant reaction, maybe Friday, maybe Saturday. We'll see. Yeah,
I'm sure we will. Actually, we'll get together.
And hit the bell. So any big upset we will talk about, and we may, no matter what, we'll see, react to the Ohio State-Michigan game on Saturday. So.
You know what? Let's just put that out there. How about that? Are you okay with that if we say that live on the air? That, no matter what happens, we will react.
Are you sure?
Within an hour after the final of the Ohio State-Michigan game.
With the hour, you don't want to do it right away?
Okay, we'll do it right away. I was trying to give you a little bit of leeway if you needed it, because, you got to watch all these college football games.
It's better do it right away, because then we just don't miss too much of the other games. Let's just go ahead and.
Okay.
So no matter what. You want to react to it, because if it does not go the way you want, you're going to see a real grumpy Mike Valentine.
We are. It's going to be like when the Packers lose and Matt LaFleur can't call a football game, and you're going to want him fired. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to want Ryan Day fired, but you might at least see a grumpy guy if that happens again.
So make sure you subscribe, because we will react on Saturday to the Michigan, and you never know, maybe another game we will. We'll see what happens.
All right. Let's talk about this game, the last game that we're going to look at specifically, and then we're going to do our lights out list of the top 10 important college football games this weekend, which will include the Friday and the Saturday games. So it's number 5, Georgia, at number 16, Georgia Tech. Now, it's in Georgia Tech. The rivalry nickname is, I love this, Clean, Old-Fashioned, Hate. That's the rivalry nickname. The trophy is the Governor's Cup. It is Friday as well. It's on the 28th. You can watch it at 3:30 Eastern Time on ABC. Georgia leads this rivalry as well, 72-41-5. Here's my first question for you. Can quarterback Haynes King get into the Heisman conversation with a win?
The conversation, yes, he can get back in it. He'd have to have a big
I wanted
game.
to word it that way.
like 5 total touchdowns, upset. He can get back in it, but he won't win it. But he can get back in the conversation. But yeah, they'd have to win. He'd have to put up some big time numbers.
But this is kind of where the Heisman is separated, right? If you do big things late in the season, that's what people who vote on that remember. And because of that, I think he'll be able to climb up there if he has a couple of those moments, right?
Yeah, I think he has to win because it just was so bad last week against Pitt. So he's not really in the conversation, in my opinion, right now. But he threw a couple horrible interceptions last week. But if he upset Georgia, short memory, if he has this monster game, 3 touchdown passes, 2 touchdown runs, and they upset Georgia, then yeah, he's back in the conversation. And stay tuned Tuesday on the podcast. We'll do Heisman Watch again.
Yes, we will. And that'll be interesting as well, especially after this rivalry weekend takes place. Can Georgia still get into the college football playoff if they lose this game to Georgia Tech?
Yes, I still think they're in if they lose this game.
What if they lose it bad?
They're not going to.
You're really confident in yourself there,
sir. If they lose this game, it just depends what the committee's thinking. But right now, I think they're 4th. For them to fall all the way out of it, probably not. It just depends who else loses. Like, it would help if Ole Miss and Oregon also lost. It would help if BYU or Texas Tech lost. A lot, so a lot of things would probably have to happen to not make it. But I still think they make it. What do you think?
Yeah, they probably will make it. I mean, I'm with you. I really don't see them losing. And if they do lose, it's probably going to be one of these freak things at the end of a game where, we're going to be yelling at some referee or something for making a terrible call or not making a call or whatever that would be. So yeah, I don't really see it happening. But what if Georgia Tech does upset them? And if they do, can Georgia Tech jump up into the college football playoff?
It's possible because it's such a big win, but I still don't see it. I still think ACC only deserves one team. It's just not a very strong conference this year. So even with that win, I still think they miss it, but they'll be in the discussion. But I don't see them winning. Georgia Tech they couldn't stop anything Pitt was doing. And let's be honest, if you can't stop Pitt, you're not stopping Georgia. Their defense, Georgia Tech's defense has just really fallen off throughout the season. So I think Georgia could score 40 points, no problem. So I don't see it happening. This is one of those that I just don't see it being an upset just because Georgia Tech just can't stop a thing.
I want to give a shout out to all of our people right now following with us. There's one podcast that's going on X right now that's got us beat, but the second one is my stream of the Lights Out Sports Podcast Special Rivalry Edition, and the number 3 rated is Cheese's broadcast of the Lights Out Sports Podcast Special Edition. They don't, Twitter doesn't combine, or X doesn't combine them together. It does each person as they put it out there separately. So we've got the 2 and the 3rd, 2nd and 3rd right now. So
nice.
Pretty good. We weren't sure how this was going to go with it being in the afternoon. So we appreciate each and every one of you helping us out and giving us exactly what we need here on the Lights Out Sports Podcast when we're doing a special. It is the Rivalry Edition for college football. All right. It is time, sir. Okay. It's time for the Lights Out list. And I can't wait for this one. In fact, I got special music just for it.
Okay.
Yes. You got to give it a second because it builds for a minute. But here we go for the Lights Out list. You know it's big if it's got a build. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is our Lights Out list. It is going to be the top 10 college football games this weekend that we just can't wait to see. Yeah. All right, We'll turn that down a
Okay.
little bit, let that play in the
Well,
background.
Before we start, I have a question.
Sure.
So sometimes our list, we look at it differently. So this is the top 10 biggest games of the week, correct? Not the biggest rivalry, just the biggest games. Okay.
The biggest games, yes.
Okay, so we know Clemson, South Carolina, no Florida, Florida State, which was crazy. Before the season, we thought those would be two of the top
It is
five.
crazy. We did think those were going to be big games this week.
Okay. I'll just say I did it based on the college football playoff. Big games that have college football playoff ramifications. I didn't do biggest, like, just games overall, getting into a bowl or anything like that. So, okay.
I can tell you, I only have one game that is not a rivalry in this countdown. So we'll see how this all goes through and works out. So I think it'll be interesting.
Me too.
Okay. Sounds good. Do you want to start, or do you want me to start?
What do you think?
I'm gonna chug a little bit of drink over here, so you can go ahead and start it if you want.
Number 10, I have Miami versus Pitt. I thought about putting it higher, but here's the thing. I don't think Miami's getting in anyway, even if they win. And Pitt, if they do win, they still need SMU or Virginia to lose to get an ACC title to have any chance. So it could mean a lot, but maybe not. So I didn't have it high. I just have it at 10.
Okay, well, more on that game later because I think it means a little bit more. I'm going to start out with Oregon, Washington. If you guys listened to the Lights Out Sports podcast yesterday, you know I predicted this upset. I really and truly think that Washington has a shot at upsetting Oregon. And if that happens, here we go. Chaos in the college football playoffs. So because of that possibility, I had to start the countdown with Oregon and Washington.
I had that a lot higher. Okay.
Who's your 9 team, Chiefs?
Vandy, Tennessee. Vandy versus Tennessee. Vandy probably played the softest SEC schedule, so I don't think they get in. Even if they win, it would be a big win road game against Tennessee. They would need a lot to happen, but if they lose, they are eliminated. So it's still a big game. So I'll 9, Vandy, Tennessee.
Okay, more on that later because I have that higher on my list. So, Oregon, Washington was my number 10. The other upset that I really think has a chance of happening, Northwestern and Illinois. I know you don't think Northwestern can beat Illinois. I think Illinois is kind of a free-falling team, and I'm not sure if they can be coached out of it or not. I thought Illinois was better than this, and they're proving me wrong. So Northwestern may come in there and be able to beat them. Not that this is going to make any difference in the college football playoff because neither of these teams are making it, but it will as far as the seeding goes and when they actually get to some of the other bowl games. This can make a big difference for both of these.
There's no way Illinois will play as bad as they played last week. There's just no way.
I hope not, because they will get beat if that happens.
Especially in a rivalry game, they'll show up. They didn't show up last week. My number 8 is Virginia Tech. Obviously, Virginia wins. They're in the ACC title game. I would have put this higher, but they not only have to win, they have to beat either SMU or Pitt if they win to get in. But it's the biggest Virginia Tech game for Virginia in a long time. So number 8.
Interesting. That would have been 11 for me. I didn't put that in my top 10.
Okay.
So I don't want to be a homer too much. So I didn't put them really, really high. But I do think this game is really important, especially after the college football playoff rankings came out yesterday. And ASU, the Sun Devils, are at number 20, and Arizona is actually ranked as well at number 25. So both of those teams are in that ranking system. And this is for the Big Territorial Cup. It's sold out because I tried to get tickets. I thought about it, and I wasn't going to pay that kind of money, so I'll watch it.
Mike is cheap, everyone.
Yes, Mike is cheap. That is 100% right. So I put the Territorial Cup at number 7, Arizona at Arizona State.
You know what's crazy about that rivalry? Last year, Arizona was picked as one of the favorites in the Big 12, and Arizona State was picked as maybe last or second to last. And it went complete opposite. Arizona was supposed to be so good, and they stunk, and Arizona State obviously won the conference. So I watched that game last year because I wanted to watch 2 players, Tedder McMillan and Cam Scadaboo. And Cam Scadaboo just destroyed them. And Tedder McMillan wasn't even the best receiver in that game. Jordan Tyson was much better. I'm like, who is this Arizona State guy? So Absolute slaughter last year. But interesting enough, Arizona lost a lot, but they're a much better team this year. They really improved. They were 4-8 last year. So, yeah, that could be a fun game. I didn't put it on the list just because neither one's going to make the playoff.
Okay. I understand.
My number seven is Oklahoma LSU. I think it's very simple for Oklahoma. They have a great resume. They have some huge wins at Tennessee, at Alabama. Even though they lost to Texas, but if they win, I think they're in at 10-2. LSU at home. LSU has enough talent. They could be a spoiler. I don't think it happens. So, yeah, number 7, Oklahoma LSU.
Yeah, that's why I didn't put it in there, because I don't think LSU. I looked at it, but I don't think LSU's got enough talent to be able to do that. Is that a signal for me to turn the music down? Is that what that was?
No, my head is just too big. It keeps slipping off. My head is just giant.
There's so much knowledge in there.
It keeps wanting to fall off.
Forward. Yes.
Yeah, I need to get a new microphone.
That's okay. We'll talk about that off air, by the way. I've got something I think for you, but we'll talk about that.
Okay.
So my, 10 was Oregon, Washington. 9 was Northwestern Illinois. My 8, did we skip over? Yeah, you know what? I flipped these, actually. I should have. Okay.
You said Arizona State last time.
Yeah, I did. I did Arizona State, which is fine at 8. You can put UCLA, USC up 1 at 7. Those games are flippable. That's fine. But this is the tradition game for me. I don't know where it's going to be at this year. I didn't look it up, but I mean, old stadium, old rivalry. Coming out and having the Trojan guys stab the sword into the ground and all that kind of stuff, man. Just things that I remember
like
from
stabbing.
Yeah.
You like the stabbing. That's your
I do. That's why I work in a prison, sir. Just shanking the snot out of people. So, but yeah, I love to see those. Those are, you talked about some of the iconic moments during this show, and for me, that's some of those moments that were done in this rivalry. So I'm going to put UCLA USC at number 7.
If USC had one more win, I would absolutely put this on there because, they played Notre Dame, played Oregon. If they'd beaten one of those games, then they would have a huge win and they'd probably be playing to get in the playoff. But because they're not, I didn't put it on the list.
Yep.
My number 6 is Georgia Tech. We just talked about it. I would have had it higher, but I just don't see Georgia losing this game. I don't think Georgia Tech can stop them. I think it's going to be pretty comfortable victory. And Georgia wins, obviously, they're in the playoff, even though they might not even play in the SEC title game. So, yeah, that's my number 6.
All right. I've got that much higher than you do. So, my number 6 is Alabama-Auburn. You must have this game higher than I do.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm in the same boat where you just said about Georgia Tech, Georgia. I really don't think Auburn can beat Alabama. I think this is going to be over by halftime, to be very honest with you.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's why it's still a great rivalry. It's still a game that I'm going to watch. I'm looking forward to it. But I just think it might be a slaughter by the time the end of the game comes rolling around. And if it's I have to look at what all crosses paths with it and everything. It might be one of those games to where I only watch 3/4 of it because I want to see the whole next game that comes on after it. So Alabama-Auburn for me is number 6.
Okay. We recap my 10 through 6 so far. I have Miami Pitt at 10. At 9, Vandy versus Tennessee. 8, Virginia Tech. 7, Oklahoma LSU. 6, Georgia Tech. My number 5 is Texas A&M Texas. Texas, even if they win, you just asked me that. I don't think they get in with 3 losses. Committee does not let teams in with 3 losses. And A&M, even if they lose, they're 11-1. They're still in. Otherwise, would have had it higher, but it's all about seeding. A&M wants to win. They want to play in the SEC title game. They want to be a top 3 seed. So, if they do win the SEC title game undefeated, they will be the 2 seed because Indiana, Ohio State, 1 will lose. So they'll jump to the 2 seed, in my opinion. So, number 5, Texas A&M.
Yeah, that does have some pretty big implications. You're 100% right. And that's why I've got it higher on my list than what you do. So for me, 10 was Oregon, Washington. Northwestern Illinois was 9. Arizona ASU Territorial Cup was 8. UCLA and USC is at 7 with Alabama and Auburn at 6. And here's my game that I know you have a big wow, we are jumping up in people. Everybody wants to see these lists, man. They love this stuff.
People love the list.
Yes, they do. Our people are jumping up right now. Vanderbilt and Tennessee. I don't know who's going to win this game. That's why I put this at number 5. I really don't know who's going to win this game. I think both teams have a shot at this. And unlike some of the other games that we've talked about today, I don't see a clear-cut winner here. What I see is a great game that has some implications with the college football playoffs. So at number 5, Vanderbilt and Tennessee.
The over-under actually is 65.5.
Wow.
That's a high number.
That's much.
Tennessee is favored by 3.5. So they think it's anytime it's 3.5 or fewer, it's pretty much a coin flip. And they are at home. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I do think Tennessee, they better win. Okay.
So maybe we'll have an instant reaction to that game as well.
We can. Let's do it.
All right.
Well, Friday and Saturday. Well, actually, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. All I'm going to do is watching football. That's all I'm going to be doing is watching football and eating. Okay.
I'll probably eat more than I will watch football. But again, there's a reason why you can't see me from the neck down. So.
Yeah, I just got to figure out, like, if I'm cooking, I can't be watching, but I want to cook some chicken. So I got to figure out what I'm doing. Okay. My number 4, you've already mentioned it. And I get why you had it lower, but I'm going to explain why it should be higher. Oregon, Washington is my number 4. Oregon, you said something in the podcast last night. They really don't have as good a resume as most teams in the Power 4 conference.
No.
Their loss was to Indiana, who's great, but it was at home. So if Oregon wins, there is a chance they get knocked out of the college football playoff. They're not going to play in the Big Ten title game, so they can't win the Big Ten, no matter what. So even though they'll be 10-2, they lose to Washington, who's unranked, I believe. They could get knocked out. So that's why I have it 4th. That's why I have it higher than you, because Oregon probably needs to get. They're in if they win for sure, but they might get knocked out if they lose.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier, right? There's a lot of these 10-2 teams. And if chaos happens, one of these 10-2 teams is going to be out. And I'm with you, especially if they lose
or
to
2
Washington.
or 3.
Yeah.
What if Vandy goes to Tennessee and wins by 25 points and Oregon loses by 15 to Washington? Would you say maybe Vandy should get in instead of them? You never know.
You never know. Well, it'll be interesting. I'm really loving this college football season this year.
Chaos ensuing.
I'm a lot more intrigued by this than I am what's going on in the NFL right now.
I can see that.
Yes.
You're in draft mode.
I am actually. And you're kind of getting me in that mode, to be really honest with you. You know, I've never done this show with a person that does the draft and stuff like what you do. And you've made me watch college football a little differently, because I literally, what I said earlier is 100% true. I'll go back and rewatch a play. I think you go back and rewatch whole games. I kind of like to watch a play and then be like, oh, wait, let me rewind this back a little bit and see how this person did. And let me rewind that same play back and focus on this part. And so I'm watching college football a little bit differently because of Cheese over here. So, wow.
Yeah. If Jordan Tyson gets drafted if Jordan Tyson's drafted by the Cardinals, we will do an instant draft reaction. Mike will be freaking out.
I will, but I don't think he's going to get past Tennessee. But yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
more on that. Another show.
Yeah, but think about it though. That makes sense, doesn't it? They got their quarterback. Now they want to get their
trade down. Oh, they need him bad, but they need to trade down. I think trade down, but yeah, Jordan Tyson's probably going right now. If I had to guess, in the top 6, probably. Because it's not a strong at the top. Anyway, what number are we at?
Miami and Pitt for me is number 4.
Okay.
This one's taking a long time. Miami and Pitt for me is number 4 because I'm going to tell you this. Pitt excited me last week. That quarterback, that true freshman quarterback doing what he did last week, man, that big game pumped me up. And I'm not even a Pitt fan. But as I'm watching that game, it's just building and building and building. And there was a point where you're like, oh, no, they're going to collapse. And they're going to, this young kid's going to fall down and he's going to falter. And then, but he didn't. He kept his.
Then he made a huge play and they got up 21.
He did. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I jumped up out of the chair like, oh, yeah, there we go. That's what I want to see. So he got me excited, and this might be a little bit of bias here, but I want to see Pitt beat Miami. And I think, again, this is going to be a really good game. I don't know who's going to win this game, but I know who I want to win this game. And when I looked at the games and I saw that, okay, I'm not sure who's going to win it, I didn't do the college football ramifications as much as what I think you did. I looked at what were the better games over the weekend, and I think this one ranks number 4 for me, Miami and Pitt.
Yeah, I want Pitt to win just because I don't want those Miami fans say we beat Notre Dame. If Notre Dame makes it, they don't. Oh, we beat. If they lose this game, they can't say anything. You know, and like I said, the victory over Florida State now looks like nothing.
Yeah,
that victory for Miami,
actually.
No, just like the Alabama loss to Florida State. I know it was week 1, but you got to go back and look at that. I don't think Alabama has the best 10-2 resume. I definitely don't think they do. Even though they won at Georgia, they lost to Florida State by 14. So. All right, well, yeah, we got to keep going.
Number 3, sir. Number 3.
Number 3, I have Alabama, Auburn. Once again, it's just such a big rivalry. It's one of the best 2 or 3 in all of college football. Some people think it's number 1. I think it's probably number 2. But Alabama has to win this game to have any chance. So the stakes have never been higher in Auburn. You know they want to knock Alabama out. And if Alabama loses, we talked about earlier, they'll be 9-3 for 2 straight years. That is unacceptable for Alabama fans. So much at stake.
Yeah, it's like LSU this year, right? Unacceptable. Unacceptable. You're going to hear my dogs go crazy because I can hear the garage door opening up. My wife is home. This is the bad thing about doing things in the afternoon. So, yes, okay. 2 dogs, and they're going to go absolutely nuts. When I come home, they're just like, oh, look, Dad's home. But when my wife comes home, they're, woohoo. Of course, she feeds them, so they like her better. For me, the number 3 game, Texas A&M, Texas. Because, again, I think Texas has a real shot at winning this game. I'm really intrigued by it. I think if Arch Manning has a good game, then Texas has a shot. But if Arch Manning does not come through, then they have no shot whatsoever. So this is a game for me that I think is either going to be really close or it's going to be a blowout. And Texas A&M is going to be the one just stomping Texas in the ground. So I'm intrigued. Therefore, I put it at number 3, Texas A&M and Texas.
Yeah, I could see that being a really close game down the wire. I could also see A&M just running away with it.
Yeah.
They've done that in some games.
They have.
Okay, my number 2 is Ole Miss, Mississippi State. Mississippi State, they're 5-6. We talked about it on the podcast last night. I think this is a big upset alert. I think Ole Miss is in a little trouble here. This Mississippi State is better than 5-6. They have lost a lot of close games to some really good teams. The spread's only 7.5. It's in Mississippi State, which is a tough place to play. You know this. Arizona State.
Arizona State.
Have that one back. Yeah. They wish they could have that one back. It's such a tough place to play. And Ole Miss, they're 10-1. They still have some flaws. I still don't love their team. Don't love their defense. So I think I love Mississippi State in this spread, and I think it's probably closer to a coin flip than most people think. So, and if Ole Miss loses, just when we talk about Oregon, they could be 10-2 and find themselves out of the college football playoffs. Some other teams could move ahead.
Yeah. Which would be, I don't want to say terrible, but here's something that you didn't mention that I want to mention. I didn't put this game in my top 10, by the way.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I looked at it and said no. And here's, I think the outside distractions with Lane Kiffin and where is he going to go and what's going to happen here and all of that might be the thing that undoes Ole Miss. So,
do you think he's going somewhere?
I'm sorry.
Do you think he'll go? Do you think he'll stay, or do you think he'll go to one of these jobs?
If I'm him, I'm staying because of what he's building there. But if he gets enough money thrown at him, I think he's going to go.
I think he should stay. He's done a really good job there. I want to see him stay.
But if he
goes to Florida, come on, it'd just be awful.
How much money are they going to be willing to pay him? That's the question.
Blank check.
Yeah, money does strange things to people. So, yes. My number 2, Georgia Tech, because I think, again, this is going to be a really intriguing game. I'm not 100% sure Georgia is going to win this game. I think Georgia Tech will give them a run for their money, and it's one of those games that I'm really looking forward to. So I put Georgia Tech at number 2, and we're both going to have the same game, the game for number 1. I'll let you take it first, sir. Why is that game number 1?
Because Florida International, Sam Houston State. That's what we're talking about, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes, we are.
Okay. No, Ohio State, Michigan, and it has the highest stakes. I think it's the biggest rivalry in college football, but Ohio State's number 1. If they lose, they're still in the college football playoff. No doubt about it. They lost this game last year, still got in the playoff and won the whole thing, but it will hurt their seed. Mm-hmm. And Michigan last year, think they were 6-5 at this point, and all they want to do is upset Ohio State. Great chaos. Turned out it didn't matter. But Michigan still, like I said, they still have a shot if they win this game to get in the College World Playoff. So the stakes are just huge. This isn't the Troy Smith where they're 1-2 in the country big, but it's still huge. And I think it's the most important and the biggest game of the weekend. What say you?
Well, it's the biggest game of the weekend, and there's no doubt about that. It is the game, as it's called. And I'm going to tell you what. I used to live in Ohio. I know most of you know by watching this podcast enough that I live in Arizona now because you don't shovel sunshine, by the way. That's why we're here. So
I hear that.
Yes. People in Ohio are going to go absolutely bonkers if they win every game but this one and lose to Michigan for the 5th time in a row. I mean, there will be people burning stuff down in Columbus. I know the game is in Michigan, but it's going to just wreak havoc. And then the consequence is going to be real because you're going to have people calling for Ryan Day's head while he's trying to win a national title. And that's just not going to go over well.
We talked about that earlier.
Yeah. But I have to put this but in there. And that's this. When you did your college breakdowns last week, which, by the way, if you guys haven't gone over to his channel to see that, at Football Cheese, right?
At Football, X account at Football Cheese, YouTube account at Football with Cheese.
Okay, gotcha. So there's where we are. Go over there and watch that. He says, he being Cheese, maybe you don't want to be one of the top 4 people in the national or in the college football playoff. So I'll throw that out there, leave you intrigued, and have you go over to Cheese's channel and listen to why maybe not being in that top 4, if Ohio State does get beat by Michigan, might be the best thing.
Yeah, I'm going to make another video about it, go into depth when they do finalize the College Football Playoff. But the 5 through 8 seeds last year all made the Final Four, and the final game was the 7th and 8th seeds. Yeah. So anyway, I'll talk more about it. I could just go on. But I want to mention one more thing.
Sure.
John Cooper went 2-10-1 against Michigan. When I was a kid, I remember watching the game. Michigan was just always winning that game.
And he got
Ryan Day
does.
Yes, but he had a longer leash. Yeah, they've lost 4 straight. Ryan Day has to beat Michigan. You can't have another John Cooper. They will not let you go. 13 seasons of losing to Michigan. So I was looking up. I was like, who was that coach? What was that coach? I just kind of looked it up. But
John Cooper.
2-10-1. That was bad. Yes, I'm sure you do.
Yes.
So,
all right, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, we appreciate you being with us here on the Lights Out Sports Podcast special for College Football Rivalry Week edition. Thank you all very much. I'm going to kind of wrap this up pretty quick here. Anything that you want to say, Cheese, before we do? Because we were saying, half hour, 45 minutes, and it's an hour and a half long.
Yeah. I'll just say this. We're going to react to Ohio State, Michigan. So make sure you subscribe to this channel, hit the bell. And anything else crazy happens, I will react to my channel as well, especially on Thanksgiving. Anything crazy happens, Black Friday, and Mike and I might react to some other games as well. So just make sure you check out this channel, subscribe, and at Football with Cheese is my YouTube channel.
Right. So if you hit the bell, then you'll always know when we go live, right?
You get a notification.
Excellent.
Yes. And make sure you like this if you're on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up. Yes. It helps the channel out. It looks like this.
I got stuff all around me. I smacked my arm doing that. All right. Hey, you know what?
They can't take you anywhere.
No, we can't. My wife will tell you that. We can't take me anywhere. Well, I said it last week. I'll say it again. Valentine's not for everyone. All right. So, yes. We're not doing baseball, so I don't think we can do the same catchphrase as we launched this one off the air. So I wanted to do this one. I saw this earlier on Twitter, and I really like this. And here it is. A man is not great because he has failed. A man is great because he didn't let the failure stop him. So we thank each and every one of you guys for being here with us. Myself, Cheese, as we say goodbye and thank you. Appreciate each and every one of you. We'll talk to you soon.
Go Big Orange.
Of course, go Big Orange. Right? And here is the outro.